Welcome! Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest, most important challenges in artificial intelligence. And that's the huge difference between an AI that actually knows something and one that's just good at repeating it back. We want our AI to be that star student who gets the concepts, not the one who just crams the night before the test and hopes for the best. So this is the million-dollar question, right? How do we get a machine to be that student who understands the why behind the math, not just the one who's memorized the answers to a bunch of practice problems? Because when the real exam comes along, when the questions are totally new, something it's never seen before, well, only the student who truly learned the stuff is going to pass. And that's the exact same dilemma we face with AI. Okay, so to teach a computer to really understand, we first need a tool that can look at a bunch of data and start finding the patterns hidden inside. And the most basic fundamental tool in our entire toolbox for this is something called regression. At its heart, it's all about a really simple idea, figuring out how different things are connected to each other. Now, the key thing to get here is that regression isn't just about predicting the future, it's about explaining the present. For example, sure, we could use it to predict the price of a house. That's useful. But its real magic is in helping us understand how things like, say, the square footage or the number of bedrooms or the neighborhood actually affect that final price. It's all about connecting the dots and figuring out the how and the why. So it's less like a crystal ball and more like understanding the recipe? Exactly. It's about building a little model of how the world actually works. All right, so every student and every model needs a grade. It needs a test score. We get that score from something called a cost function, and the most common one is the mean squared error, or MSE. Now that sounds complicated, but all it means is for every guess our model makes, we measure how far off it was from the real answer. That gap is the error, and the goal is simple. Get that average error as low as you possibly can. Okay, that makes sense. A lower score is better. But it seems like the goal should be a score of 0, right? A perfect score. I mean, just make the model's prediction line touch every single data point you have. What could possibly be wrong with that? And that is the perfect question because it leads us directly to the villain of our story, overfitting. This is this crazy paradox in machine learning where getting a perfect score on the practice test is actually a terrible, terrible sign. It means you didn't learn a thing. You just memorized. So look at this. Over here on the left, you've got the learner. This model totally gets the general trend, the big picture in the data. Yeah, it might not hit every single practice question perfectly, but because it understands the core ideas, it does great on the real test, on new data it's never seen. But then, look to the right. This is the memorizer. This is an overfit model. It has bent and twisted itself into this crazy complex shape just to perfectly match every single training point. It gets a 100% on the practice test for sure, but the second you give it a new question, it just completely falls apart. But I'm still stuck on this. I mean, why is perfect a bad thing? Isn't a perfect score the ultimate goal we're aiming for here? A perfect score is a terrible thing if it comes at the cost of a real understanding. See, the model didn't learn the signal, it just memorized all the random noise in the data. So how do we fix this? How do we push the model to generalize instead of just memorizing? Well, this is where the hero of our story comes in, a technique called regularization. Let's think of regularization as the wise teacher in this whole story. The student comes up, all proud, and says, "Look, I got a 100 on the practice test. I drew this super complicated, wiggly line that hits every single dot." And the wise teacher, regularization, just shakes their head and says, "That's impressive, but your explanation is way too complicated. I'm going to actually penalize you for that complexity. Go back and find a simpler solution, one that just captures the main idea." Okay, I love the analogy, but how does that actually work? I mean, how can a piece of math penalize complexity? It works by adding a little penalty to that test score we talked about, the MSE. And there are two main teaching philosophies for how to apply this penalty. They're two very famous techniques called ridge and lasso regression. They both have the same goal, simplify the model, but they go about it in totally different ways. Let's break this down. First up, we've got ridge, the balancer. Its penalty is based on the square of the weights that it gives to each feature. Think about that for a second. If you square a small number like 2, you get 4. But if you square a big number like 10, you get 100. So it really hates large weights. It penalizes them super harshly and forces all of them to shrink down. Now over here, we have lasso, the minimalist. It uses the absolute value of the weights. And because the math is different, it does something wild. Instead of just shrinking the big weights, it can actually force the weights of features it thinks are unimportant to become exactly 0. Wait, hold on. Why would you want to force a weight to 0? That's like throwing away data. Why would you ever want to completely ignore a piece of information you have?
That is Lasso's superpower. Forcing a weight to zero is the same thing as kicking that feature out of the model completely. It's doing something we call feature selection. Imagine you're trying to predict a house's price. You have that on its square footage, the number of bedrooms, and, I don't know, the color of the front door. Lasso is like this ruthless editor that looks at all the data and says, front door color? That's just noise. It doesn't help explain the price. And boom, it sets the importance, the weight of that feature to zero, cutting it out of the story. It simplifies things by only keeping the most important characters. Ridge, our balancer, would have kept the front door color, but just given it a tiny, almost zero weight. Lasso just gets rid of it.
Okay, so we've got the balancer and the minimalist, these two different teaching philosophies for our AI. Why does this distinction matter so much when we're talking about the real world? It matters because we don't build AI to work in a perfect, sterile lab. We build them to work out here, in the messy, unpredictable real world.
And getting this right is what makes AI actually practical and trustworthy. Regularization is what stops a self-driving car's camera from freaking out the first time it sees a weirdly shaped tree it wasn't trained on. It's what makes a medical diagnostic tool reliable when it sees a new patient whose data looks a little different. And by using techniques like Lasso, we can build simpler models that humans can actually understand. A model that predicts disease risk with just 5 key factors is a lot easier for a doctor to trust than some black box that's using 500. It's all about managing that constant tug of war between a model that's complex enough to be accurate and one that's simple enough to be robust and make sense.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? We've seen these two big strategies for building smarter models. You've got Ridge, the balancer, which listens to all the information but just turns down the volume on some of it. And you have Lasso, the minimalist, which ruthlessly cuts out anything it thinks is irrelevant to find a simpler truth. It really makes you think, when we face complex problems in our own lives, which approach is better? Is it better to carefully balance every single factor, or is real wisdom found in knowing what to ignore? The answer, just like in machine learning, probably depends on the problem you're trying to solve.